and I can see my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
All right, Speedromizer community, we are all set up for this interview. Take it away, DJ. All right, we are all set. Hello, I am DJ Fatso. I am joined by Sid, the representative from QMUNITY. If you want to talk about what you do at QMUNITY.
Hello, thanks first off for having me and incredibly supportive of community. It's so nice to see, I think especially on online spaces where so many queer folk are, kind of having a break from the world, for us to see each other supporting each other. So I'm super grateful to chat with you and for everyone's donations and raising awareness today. But yeah, my name's Sid. My pronouns are she, her. I am the fundraising coordinator at QMUNITY. And we are basically an LGBTQ plus nonprofit that's been running for, this year's our 45th anniversary. We're located up here in Canada in Vancouver, British Columbia. We are a province-wide organization. So previously, before the pandemic started, all of our services were in person. And then what happened is we had to adapt like everyone and go virtual. And once we did that, people were joining our support groups and our counseling and our employment services in rural small towns across the province. And when we started bringing stuff back in person, we realized we couldn't take away our sort of lifelines for these small communities where people might be the only out trans person, or there might be like two queer people. So we adapted, and now we do all of our programming both virtually and in person in our offices. So we've been around for 45 years. We're very much come from a grassroots queer movement. And our sort of ethos, over the last 45 years is to adapt our programs and services to what we are told the needs of the queer community are. So we kind of take our lead from people who come in every day and they're letting us know how they need to be supported. And we create programming for them. So that looks like we have seniors programming that runs. We have about 5 or 6 different drop-ins. And we have one that is for giving folks who are facing food insecurity grocery cards and a lunch meal. We have a bunch of youth programming, drop-ins, one-on-ones that run during the week. And then we also have free counseling services. We have 20 different peer support groups. We have, honestly, so much more. I could talk forever about the different programming, but all of it is free, accessible, low barrier. Basically, all people need to do is come to us and say they need help, and we'll connect them with whatever program or service is sort of best suited. So yeah, that's a little spiel about who we are, and I am just super grateful to be here.
That's a fantastic breakdown. How did you personally get started with QMUNITY back in the day?
Yeah, so it's so funny because when we have a sort of volunteer help desk that people can call or email any day from Monday to Friday, and someone will help them, refer them, whether they need maybe they want a gender affirming haircut and they're afraid of walking into a random barber. So we will give them a list of folks that we vetted and we think are queer competent. Or if they need a doctor, we can connect them with folks who can support them, maybe with gender affirming care. So the thing that a lot of people do after coming out as queer or trans is, and I did this myself, where I was like, trans Vancouver, what do, essentially? And the first thing that came up was QMUNITY, and I joined. There's a support group that we run called Trans Gathering, which is basically just a space for trans folks to come together and talk about literally anything. And I came out as trans, and I didn't have a community around me. I had so many questions, but no one to talk to. So I joined that support group, and that was sort of my first introductory into the trans and queer community. And then from there, I had always, like, basically every queer trans person I know in the city and across the province contact community about like so many different things. And then when I saw a job come up, I was like, it was part of the reason I've been able to sort of build and cultivate the life where I'm at now, where I feel comfortable, supported, I have community. And I saw that job and I was like, I need to work there because I understand how important and vital these services are. And I feel like I can be a part of, like, the more money we raise, the more we can provide services to folks. Because the worst thing that happens is when someone reaches out for help, that we have to put them on a wait list because we don't have enough counselors or we don't have enough space in our food security program. And more money means we can help more people. And when I saw that, I was like, this is something I know I can do. And I had a bit of experience. And I've been there ever since. It's been about 2.5, almost 3 years at this point. And it's flown by.
A question from actually one of our community members: Is there anything community is doing for trans youth at this time?
Yeah, I love that question. So as I was talking about, we really try to respond to what's happening with our community. And sadly, one of the hardest things happening right now is that trans youth are being targeted by right-wing political, like, large parties and people, and they're kind of being scapegoated as protect kids, right? This sort of same rhetoric that we've seen over and over, going back to queer people in like the 70s saying that people are, grooming children. And I would say 99% of the youth that we see come into our youth program are trans. So we're kind of trying to support it on a lot of different levels. The first and one of the most important ways is to just support trans youth. So we have multiple drop-ins and we do one-on-one. And honestly, last year was, because of the amount of donations we got, we were able to create a new stream in our counseling program. So anytime a trans youth comes to us and says they need help with their mental health, they get to see a counselor basically tomorrow, completely free. Before, they would have to join the wait list, but we understand the sort of risk they're at, so we prioritize them. So they get immediate help with a counselor. They get one-on-one support through basically like a social worker who helps them with system navigation. And then we also have our drop-in so they can meet other trans youth. Because honestly, trans youth are really good at like creating community with each other. And these youth are so amazing. I see this all the time where a trans youth will come in for the first time and they're so nervous and they look like they're not going to make it through the door. And then by the end of the drop-in, they're all going and getting dinner together. And then they add each other on Discord, and then they're like best friends. And these youth, they know because they've all come in by themselves in that early part of their transition, so they support each other every time. Practically what we're doing. And then on a larger level, we are trying to do more advocacy and awareness work because we need to change the reality that is causing such harm to them. So our leadership are in conversation right now with governments to try to put in new funding opportunities to support them. We're working with schools to try to create more education. And then also we've been, there's a couple legal cases that we've been sort of experts that we come in and we show the sort of data and the experience we have to create more legislation and precedent around things like having to use the right pronouns and names in school. And yeah, one just went up, I believe, to like the Supreme Court in Canada last year that we were an intervener in, I think, if I'm using the legal language right. So yeah, we're trying to sort of do it every which way possible because it's a really rough time out there for trans youth. Yeah.
That's amazing. So we are running short on time here. I'm going to ask one more question. Is there any specific program that funding from Speedromizer will be going towards?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of just talking about it right now, but we call all of our gender affirming programs at Q. We kind of call them GAP for short, gender affirming programs. And because the rate of access of our programs over the last couple of years by trans folks has gone up about 200 or 300%, but our funding has not gone up 200 or 300%. So honestly, every single dollar that comes from folks in the community will go directly into things like providing free gender affirming wear, helping folks who are trying to get gender affirming medical procedures done, and supporting people through counseling in our youth programs. So all the money will go directly into programs and services. We are one of these nonprofits where basically everyone who works there is running programs, or we're using it to give away free binders and breast forums. So every single dollar is going to go directly into the sort of programs that help people in need. So yeah, super appreciative of everyone who's doing this, from viewers to speedrunners to you who are organizing this. It really means a lot to us. And every time I get to share with program staff that there's people out there who are doing fundraisers like this, and there's people who are paying attention, it always means so much to them, because they're just like such good-hearted people. They just do this because they know it's the right thing to do. And sometimes I think they don't realize how appreciative people are. So it really means a lot to everyone.
All right. And thank you so much for this interview. It's great that we get to do another one of these. Not a problem. All right. Well, I got to say thank you again. Happy Pride Month. And we will see you later at some point, I'm sure.
Around the chat. Happy Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride.
Come on, everybody, never gonna stop.